All right, here we are. Everybody, welcome. Golden, welcome. Welcome. Thanks for making it and making it on time tonight. Appreciate that. Good to see you again. And so tonight, this is what I've decided to paint, which is a nice image of Avalon on Catalina Island and the casino out here. Fantastic, beautiful little place. I love it. Out there, been many times. Michelle, hello. And so this is what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to kind of jump right into it. I'm using my Arches watercolor paper down here, 9 by 12. This way, 140 pound rough. As always, or as usual, my M-gram paints over here with my brushes. And why does it look like my paints are all goofy again? Let's see if I flip it this way. It might be right, almost. Somebody's coming in here. Hello? By the door. Somebody dropping me off something here. Let me fix this. There we go. Now we've got it right. And we're off and running. I'm totally sorry about that. My brushes are the brushes that I normally have. That was my daughter saying she had some popcorn for me. I have pre-drawn my image. It is very light. And I'm not going to waste any time with this because it's so light. It's probably hard to see. So I'm going to jump in with a little paint. I'm going right in for my cerulean blue here, and I'm going to get a nice wet mixture. And as I'm doing this, I'm going to say I hope everybody had a nice week since last time we met. I have not been doing too much. I have to admit, I've just been tired. I don't feel bad. I've just been tired. And for whatever reason, last night I could not get to sleep. So if I start to nod off or ramble off or just kind of off to the side, somebody say something, nudge me a little bit and bring me back into what everybody else is doing. And I'm just trying to think what else I can even mention in here. I'm hoping this is going to be nice and light by the time we get down here to the casino itself. I was sad. I'll tell you a Catalina story. I was sad. Maybe I told it last week. I don't even know. I was sad that they did away with their promotion where you could go on your birthday and get all kinds of freebies and whatnot out on Catalina Island. My whole family, we used to all go out there and enjoy a nice weekend out on Catalina. It was fantastic. You had to wear a little pin that designated that it was your birthday. I never thought that was overly burdensome. I was always happy to do that. So I'll while I'm waiting for this to dry just a little bit, I'll explain what I'm doing. And typically I would put the sky on and then keep right on going down with everything else. I want to keep it a little bit more, at least the building over here. I guess I could come down over here. I want to keep the building a little bit more separate. I don't want colors to run into that building so much. But I can do over here, and I'm painting very lightly, which is why I'm painting through all of. If you look on the reference photo right there, you can see that there's all these palm trees here that I'm just painting right through. I'm not paying them any mind. All right, the stuff that we're painting on this first layer that we've got going here is so light that anything we paint after this is going to just go right over top. It's just going to go right over top of it. We'll never notice it. So if that's the case, we might as well paint right through it. So Alice is here. Hello, Alice. Thank you for joining. If you've got a Catalina story, if anybody's got a Catalina story, I guess, please feel free to put it out there. One of the big things I really liked about going out to Catalina, it has nothing to do with Catalina. Lisa, hello. Catalina is 26 miles across the sea. Santa Catalina is waiting for me. So you got to get on the Sky Cat, what is this? Not the Sky Cat, the Jet Cat. You got to get on the Jet Cat to get out there. And you can sit anywhere you want on there. There's 100 seats. They take out so many people all at once. I used to like to get up in the front and watch the dolphins swim in the just off the bow wave. It was so fun. And leaving Long Beach Harbor, it's such a weird thing to think that they built Long Beach Harbor because of World War II, and it's a massive area that they've blocked in, and there's nothing. I guess there's a tide in there, a little bit of a tide. Anyways, but there are no waves inside Long Beach Harbor or anything like that. It's just there, and it's really kind of funny. So I'm purposely leaving, like I said, the casino on its own out here, and I'm going to just drop in some colors. Maybe some browns out here, a little sepia I'm going to mix in here to dull this down a little bit. Right, maybe I'll mix a few greens in here too. But really this area in front is mostly rock out here. There's a little bit of a walkway on this side, and there's a couple little places out here where there's some grass. But the areas I'm painting right here, it's just a rocky area to keep the tide back. I can't wait to see those palm trees come to life. Yeah, you and me both. We're going to find out how that happens. I hope it works out. Normally I would paint, right around these, but I was like, why am I bothering to paint around them? They're going to be darker. It's going to come in right over top of them. Our paint's going to be a little thicker. This is going to dry lighter than it is. Why am I bothering to paint over top of those? So, should work without any problem. Lisa, you don't have any what is the, that's a question. What is the furthest north point on the East Coast where they have palm trees? I don't know the answer to that. Do they have them in Virginia? Did I wet the paper first? I did not wet the paper first. This brush holds a ton of water. And so a lot of times I don't feel as though I need to wet my paper first. I will admit, I would get a bit better cohesion in some of my paintings if I did wet it first. I totally would, but I didn't here. And the other thing is that people ask me, well, how come my paper doesn't buckle? Right? I paint all the time. They see me painting, and my page doesn't buckle, but when they paint, their page buckles. And I think it's because I don't always wet my paper first. I let the brush, because I'm using this giant brush, this mop brush that holds a ton of water. I let it do a lot of the work for me, and I think that if you're painting in a smaller area like this, you can get away with it. And I know that I can do the sky up here because I don't need to worry about any details or anything like that. Let's see. Golden, you've got pines, birches, sycamores, and everything but palms there. Probably the Carolinas. Wow, really? They don't go up any further than... I would have thought you might have gotten some up into Virginia, but okay. We've got so many... Not really bragging about it, but we've got so many palm trees here. They grow fantastic. But to me, they're a bit funny. I'd rather have... Well, we have lots of pine trees. Lots of pine trees, oak trees. My neighbor actually coaxed a couple of birch trees to grow. That's kind of interesting, I thought. I would not have thought birch trees would grow here. But he managed to keep a couple of them growing. But we've got all kinds of... I'm a West Coast person, no clue. I'm on the West Coast also. And quite honestly, Alice, I don't know where you're at. I'm waiting for my summer to get here. I haven't seen a summer day yet. We had about 2 days of summer, and that's been it here. What I'm doing here, I guess I should explain. What I'm doing here is there's that blue, almost turquoisey fence that runs the length of the Via Casino here, which is the name of this little avenue. And I don't have a better way that I can think of right off the top of my head to, other than masking it out, to, that was lucky. That's still damp. To get it on here and in a good way, other than to be a little careful with it. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm just got to be careful when I get down here that I follow it along. And I've drawn the entire thing out. As I get further back here, I guess it matters a little less and a little less. Let's see, those rocks. And then by the time we get to here, rocks all the way up. There we go, and I've completed the rocks all the way out there, and we are off and running on this. Okay, so the casino now is got it's dry all the way around there. Let's put a nice little layer on that, and then we'll just finish coming down here. Let's see. Sorry, but I am a summer person. Here it's 100 each day. Woo! You could sit in an AC'd room and it'd still feel like turkey on Thanksgiving. Let's see. I think our temperature here, where I'm at, reached, I don't know, we might have hit 70. I'm not sure we did, to be honest with you. I'm not exactly sure, but we may have gotten to 70. We get covered with fog so much that our temperature just never rises in the summer. Having said that, we haven't had too many foggy days yet. A couple good ones. I used to have a friend I'd go out golfing with, and we have a golf course here, I'm just going to paint over this whole building. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to paint over this whole building, save for a couple areas. So my friend and I used to go out and golf after we would get home from work. And oftentimes, it was so thick and so foggy here that you literally could not see where you were hitting the ball. It's just a cuckoo bonkers how thick the fog really is here. I mean, it's crazy. And if we hadn't played that course so many times, we never would have known where to hit the ball to be able to do anything. Okay, so here's the casino. I'm putting it on just like this. You see a very pale color. If you look at the picture, it's a pretty pale building. I hope I don't have this out of shot. It's a pretty pale building over here. Let's see, it comes over, this part comes down. Well, this is all part of it, over to that fence line over there. Let's just do this whole thing. All right, and then we're gonna come back over it and do some fine details. I'm not worried about doing too many details because, you know, the building's far away. Look how far back it is. It's set back there, right? That's the height of a person, and that person's close to us. So this building is way back there. We don't have to do a whole lot with it. Sounds heavenly. It sounds heavenly. You're talking about our cool temperatures. Everybody says that. Oh, it sounds so great. It sounds so great that it's so cool. Yeah, okay, well, sometimes it is. I'll be honest with you. It used to be that I would go to work. This year, like I said, this year is a little different. I used to go to work, and it would get up to, I don't know, 90, 95. At work, we don't have air conditioning there, but we have a couple of big fans. We would turn them on, and you know, it's hot. You get hot there, and I'd get in my car, go to drive home, roll the windows down, and drive, and I could watch the temperature gauge in my car just drop. And by the time I got home, invariably I would run into a big wall of fog just right there. All, you know, bright sunny day, can see what everything looks like. Drive 100 yards further and visibility is literally, I don't know, 100 feet. I mean, it was like stark, the difference. That is too bright, right? We got a walkway up here. Let me get some of the water out of here. We got a walkway up here. I'm gonna put it on. It kind of comes up and joins that building up there. And you can walk up and around at that point. And then it comes down here. Groundhogs. Well, let's see. Michelle, you live in Vancouver. We get a lot of rain. Oh, man. Groundhogs sound like they make a lot of coffee down there. It's interesting. How do you find my Discord? I believe there is a link below. There should be. In the doodly-doo, in the write-up down below, that will get you to my Discord channel. I'll look in just a second. If there is not one, I'll put one there. but it should, I believe it's there. There we go. Here's our walkway. Coming down here. So this is the part of this whole thing that, I'll be honest with you, that I'm not sure how to do this, right? I feel like I just have a couple of colors that I'm splattering on here, and there's not a lot else to it. And it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't have a whole lot of interest other than helping this color go up and around. And we're gonna intensify these colors as they go around up here, and hopefully draw your eye up this side and into the casino up there. What color am I using? So it's kind of a mixture here. I got a little bit of this yellow ochre in there. There's probably a little bit of black in here, a little bit of sepia, and I just put a touch of this quinacridone rose, this one here, right here, into it to kind of warm it up and bring it forward in the painting. Red, of course, when you put it in, it brings everything towards you a little bit. So it's really a hodgepodge of colors. And all I'm doing at this point really is I'm biding my time. Quite honestly, I'm biding my time until the casino is done, so we can put a roof on it and we can do some other stuff with it. But while we're waiting for that, this is painted very lightly. In fact, I could go through these people here if I really wanted to, but this is painted very lightly, very pale. It's the stucco on the side of this, and it actually comes down onto the road. So I'm going to paint it very pale, just like that. We'll go over that with another color, and we'll set it in there and make that look like something. And I guess I should use that same color over on this side. Because that's kind of the same. It's not exactly the same color, but it's close enough. Over on this side, underneath this fence, or this guardrail, I guess it's not really a fence. Has anybody other than me been to Catalina? Red brings things forward. Oh yes, good information. Red does bring things forward. If you need to bring something forward, just touch a little red to it. You'll be amazed what a difference that makes to bring things forward. Just the same way that if you put something blue in your painting, you know, right now take it kind of with a grain of salt, because sometimes rules are there not to work out exactly right, but red brings things forwards, blue pushes things backwards. All right, so I was gonna ditch this big brush, but I think what I'm gonna do is give myself some water here. I'm gonna go with some turquoise. I'm gonna mix it right into what we've got here. I'm gonna go with a little turquoise, a little neutral tint, and I'm gonna see how this looks. Do yellows even them out? Not as much as you would think. I haven't found that they do that quite as much as you would think they could or they should. When it comes to that kind of a thing, yellow is much more neutral than you think. It might, you know, depending upon the shade of yellow, it might pull things forward a little bit. A warmer yellow might, but in general, it's just the red that does it. Pulls it forward. I'm going to try to get some darker colors. I don't want to lose too much of this turquoise color, but I should have gone with a little smaller brush. Some darker colors right up in here. I should have gone, you'll see, I should have gone with a little smaller brush because I don't want super amount of color on here. I just want it dark back in this little cove area. It's not really a cove, but this cove-ish area. And then I'm just going to pull this out, and as I do this, you'll be able to see the line of this handrail, fence, whatever we're going to call this. Let me make sure I'm doing this on screen. And for once, I'm going to take my time and kind of get that on there right. Now I'm trying to get it a little bit lighter up here. Now I'm going to have to go back and just touch this a little bit. I'm trying to get it a little lighter in the front here because, you know, normally you make your color a little brighter, a little darker in the front, and that pulls it forward. But I want to make it a little bit more dramatic over there. Right, maybe we get a little reflection, but it's a dark reflection off of the casino. But it's just going to make it. It's going to make it a little bit more dramatic. That's going to be off. That's going to be off. I'm not going to do anything with that. And I'm going to tell myself again, I should have grabbed a slightly smaller brush. And I'm still not getting a smaller brush. I'm still trying to do this with this little bit bigger brush. And are there lots of different ways we could have done this? Absolutely. There's lots of different ways we could have painted this. Could have put all these colors on at once and tried to force other colors over top. We could have put on a little bit of, well, that one doesn't quite fit in there, but we're going to put it in there anyways. When I say that one doesn't quite fit in there, our water extends just a little bit too far there. But we're going to leave it there anyways. I kind of like that dark back there, but I think it's not quite dark enough. I'm gonna force this a little bit more. Right? Be brave with me here, just for a second. I'm going to force this to be a little bit darker even back there. And hope that we still have just enough moisture on here that it carries it all the way down. How does that look? If that comes down a little bit down here. Come down. Let's tease this down a little bit. I want a smooth gradation. I don't want that puddle in there. And I think I can live with that. Just a little bit on my railing. I can totally live with that. I can totally live with that. Okay. Now I am going to get a slightly smaller brush. And this is when the magic is going to start to happen here. I'm going to put a little roof on here. Right, this is a little sepia and a little bit of maroon perylene. You could use any dark red if you wanted to. I just happen to have that maroon color, and I like it quite a bit. And I'm not quite wet enough with it. Come on. And then I'm going to keep this brush as I'm moving through everything else, probably. if I have to make some lines and have to be precise with it, I do like to try. Right, it doesn't always work, admittedly, but I like to try to do a lot of little strokes, lots of little strokes, and then with any luck, those little strokes turn into a lot of little strokes turn into one good stroke. I make it look easy. So, maybe some days I make it look easy. Some days I make it very hard on myself. No, look. Is it easy? It's kind of. I'm not belittling whether it's easy or not. But what I am going to say is, if I make it look easy, is because I've done it before and I understand what I need to do. Whereas, somebody trying this for the first time, to do that, little brush strokes or something like that for the first time, if you don't know, then it won't be easy. Then it's going to be hard. It's going to be a little frustrating. And it doesn't have to be, because it really isn't a hard thing to do. It's just something that nobody tells us that we should be doing. If that makes sense, right? It's not really a hard thing to do. It's just, if nobody tells us, we don't know to do it, and that makes it seem maybe a little bit harder. So I'm just darkening that up in there a little bit. It's not exactly even in there. You know what? I got to go to a brush that's got a finer point on it. I'm going to take that same color. I'm going to make it a little darker. I'm just putting a little black in it, because I just want to drop in some of these windows up here. I don't need to do much of anything with them. There's a window. There's a window. Just, it's a line. It's almost nothing. And I'll bet you if I did a line this way, all of a sudden it looks like something now. Right? All of a sudden it looks like it's something, and I haven't done anything. Practice. Yeah, yes, fair enough. Fair enough. There is a bit of practice that you could do that would make it a bit easier. But I guess what I was meaning to say is, it's not anything that's outside of anybody's realm of possibility to do. Right? It's one of those things that anybody could easily do if they've seen it, if they know how to do it. But yes, it does take a little bit of practice to get right. Also, it takes a little bit of practice to get the color you want right, and obviously I'm out of practice because I'm not getting a good color. All right, and now is when I'm going to start to define the shape of this building. Right, the casino actually has a pretty weird shape to it. Right, it's got this big round part that we all know. Well, maybe not all of us, but that's well known. Let's put it that way. That's well known. This big round, beautiful part, which is one giant room upstairs. And then it's got these other bits that stick out the back of it that nobody knows about. You look at it and you go, really? I didn't know that there was a block that came out of the back of it. And I didn't know that, it had this other stuff tacked on the side over here. When did all that stuff get there? Well, it's always been there. They just don't let anybody see those areas. Right, this is relatively unimportant over here. I mean, I hate to say that because it's our main subject, but it is, because we're going to put trees and whatnot, excuse me, in front of that. So it's relatively less important to us. But what's a little more important to us is that we get, well, that wasn't good. So we get a couple of verticals on here. To help us describe what this section of the building looks like. That might be a bit thick up at the top. Probably is a bit thick. I can pull a little bit of that back. Just a bit thick. And we've got some pillars under here that maybe have a bit of darker color to them. I'm not doing much other than just coloring those in. Right? Is that dry? We've got a one line that goes here, one line that goes here, and a little bit there. I guess I just didn't wait quite long enough for that. It's got a few things down here. At the bottom, I'm going to drop them in like this, and honest to God, this casino is almost done. Right, we don't need to do too much to it. It's a big building. It sits out there. A couple of lines here and there, and it's not quite dry enough yet. A couple of lines here and there, and it really is going to set it off. And I promise you, when somebody looks at it, they're not gonna sit there and pick it apart and go, "Oh, you didn't have this on there, you didn't have that on there." They're gonna look at it and they're gonna go, "Holy cow, that's the casino." And while we're waiting for that, let's do a couple of these palm trees over here. I always thought this was fun. There's a little memorial over here, and I didn't draw it on the flag. You can see the flag yeah, up there in that picture flying. The flag is always flying, but there's like 6 or 7 palm trees that sit right out there beside that. I don't know, let's draw them in just like that. A couple of little tiny lines, and then let's give them some tops. They're really far away, so we don't have to do much. It's really a small thing. So olive green back here in this one. Cobalt green in this one. I love cobalt green. And this is a warm yellow that I'm using here. It's New Gamboge, which I very much like. Not too many people use it. There are other warm yellows you could use that probably are more popular. But I like New Gamboge. All right, so we've got our palm trees out there. That's still too wet. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and start to put in these palm trees. Why not? That's wet and drying. Let's come over to this side. And I bet you didn't notice, but it's all of a sudden looking like a scene over here. Let's see, which ones can I do? I can start with this bit. It doesn't much matter where I start. I mean, with the trunks of these trees, right? The trunks go all the way down, but with the fronds, it is going to matter a little bit more, because I have to make sure that when I paint them, the fronds that are supposed to be in the front are in the front, and not in the back, of course. If I could figure out what the opposite of front is, probably back. They look like a bunch of moai or something to me right now. I got an ant here. All right, and I know we got a big one here. Come on, get away from me, ant. This comes up, and I'm drawing. You can see I'm drawing some weird box shape on the top of these. These are very manicured, and so they have these tops cut just so. Right, that goes up and around. And there's the top of that one. And I think before I get too far into it, if I turn it back over this way, you can start to see that's actually looking like palm trees, or palm tree-ish, I should say. I'm going to stick with my same palm tree color. And the ones back here, pretty yellow. It's too big, too big, too big. I'm just going to set it down. Give me this one. That was too big. I was not going to be able to control that. And this one is too dry. We'll figure it out. Whoops, that yellow. Oops, I didn't even paint the bottom of this one. So I don't want to... I want to be able to get some of this color coming off the top of this. That goes behind, got some behind that one. And palm trees are nice. You can do them pretty quickly. As we come forward, they're going to get a bit browner, our palm fronds. They're also going to come onto this side a little bit. Looks a bit of a mess, but we're going to fix the trunk of this tree in just a second. Is everybody still with me? What kind of brush is that mop? Okay, so this brush, this mop brush, is one I very much like, and it's cheap. This is the Dana Squirrel Quill mop brush. And they still sell this. You know, companies like to change their product line. But Dana still sells this particular brush. They also sell a red version of this brush, which I think is funny. If you prefer to have a red paint brush, you could get that. But this came in a pack of 3, sizes 1, 3, and 5 from Dana. I got it on Amazon. Cost roughly $40, somewhere in that area. And you could pick it up. And I don't know. I think I wrote a review for it on Amazon. I like it. I'm not sure everybody does. I just got Da Vinci Squirrel Mop size 1 and 2. Haven't used them. Here's my Da Vinci's. The 419 series. Size 0 and 2. I like these. I like these, but these are more squirrel than these are. I mean, they're both squirrel, but these are just a little bit more springy, if that makes any sense to you. They're just a touch springier. So if I need to paint something that is just a bit more, that I need to have just a bit more control on, then I like these Dana ones just a tad bit more. But the Da Vinci ones are fantastic, and I get to relive my Bob Ross. I get to be Bob Ross now. Right, I'm putting a giant tree right in it. A happy tree right there. I'm so happy I get to do that. It's not supposed to come down quite that far to the edge, but we'll live with that. I'm not going to worry all that much about it, especially since we can't do that much about it right now. It's already there. Happy trees, right. It does. Lisa, it does. Mine are pure squirrel, thirsty and soft. These Dana ones, like I said, I'm not trying to be a shill for the company or anything, but I was pleasant. I bought them. I'm pleasantly surprised with them. Even the little brother of these, the plastic ones I have, they're not plastic, but they have plastic handles. I've found to be a completely pleasant brush to use. I like it very much. I don't know, just for whatever reason, they work for me. But I do like, I have those the Da Vinci ones. I actually have some Winsor & Newton ones, squirrel brushes, and they work great. I don't have a problem with them, those either. But like I said, if I had a real preference to one, I would just kind of keep using these because I think they're that good. And look, all of a sudden now we've got some nice palm trees growing out here. I can fill this in back here. In fact, I think I'm going to fill this one in a little bit. This is starting to come together a little bit. Looking pretty good. This is looking a little thin back here, actually. Let's give it a little bit more that comes out this side. There's a little bit that comes over here. There we go. We don't need to do too much with this, right? It's already gotten kind of dramatic there with these giant trees that just shrink down. Dana, no, it's not Dana. It's D-A-I-N-A-Y-W. I think. D-A-I-N-A-Y-W. Yes, that's what it is. Dana brush, and like I said, I had good luck with them. I hope you guys have good luck with them. My phone just did something. That's what I looked over for. I'm not sure what it's doing over there. But now that we're in a palm tree state of mind here, let's just keep going and do some more of these palm trees. Palm trees are fun. We've got a lot of them planted over here. So if we did a few more that are actually there, it probably would be okay. And I know there's a few that are way back here that you just can't really even see. And they're way tall back here. So we're going to put in some of those too. And you know what? We could put in a couple from the back side of that building. But they come down and they kind of group down there. This big entrance area. Now, I will admit to everybody, I've never actually been in. I've never actually been in the casino. Oh, that's not true. There's a little gift shop down in one of these holes down here that I've been into. I have been into one of those. It tells you the whole history of it. But I think the best part of this whole thing, I shouldn't say the best part. Somebody's gonna be angry about it. I mean, the architecture is fantastic, right? The building is fantastic. Everything is great. But up here, there's these beautiful mosaics on the back side over here where the box office is, and they're just stunning. They go up the side of the building and all on the alcove that you go into, and they're just stunning. I think I only took about 100 pictures of it when I went there. That's how awesome I thought it was. And as long as we're putting these palm trees in there, I'm going to try to punch up our greenery over here a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop some green in here like this. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to smear it. Right? Just like this. Give me one of these. I'm going to smear it a little bit. And to me, what that does is it helps give you a few highlight areas and a few low light areas. It gives it a little bit more texture. It's just an easy way to do that. Right? And all of a sudden, we've got some garden areas there that have, they've got something growing in there. And then if you really feel you need to punch up another area in there still, just now it's wet. You can just drop a little bit more color in there. There we go. There's our garden. Where are we going? Let's see. Only? What's the only about? Oh, what did I talk about? I've forgotten what I've talked about. Help me out, Golden. What did I say? Only. Only what? I'm trying to work and think. How will you handle the rocks next to the water? These ones or these ones? These ones, well, I'm gonna get to them not too distant future here. So we're all gonna find out together. Let's see, but we've got. Did I do that right? I didn't do that right. Oh, I did it on the wrong part. Oh, well, whatever. You know what? So be it. I totally did that on the wrong part. I'll just do it like this. Watch this. All right. Shoot. I knew when I drew this, I was going to do that. I needed to be up there and there. I needed to do those other two pieces. Okay, how am I going to do the rocks back here? I'm going to do those the same way. Give me a little bit of dark color here. Get it a little bit wet. Some on my brush. And then I'm just going to drag in a couple of rocks here and there. It's probably too heavy. As it comes out here, it's going to get less and less. I didn't bother. There's a stage there, a little viewing area. In the reference photo, I didn't bother drawing that. You can go out there and look back and see Catalina. From there, it's a great photo op for tourists. I just decided to omit that from my painting. I just want to get some cracks and crevices in here. All right, there we go. That's rocks. I don't even know if I need to. I'm not even sure I need to go back and smooth that over. I don't even think I need to go and smooth that over. That looks rough enough. Now the rocks, you know, up here, I do need to take care of these ones. So I'm gonna, wherever I might have a shadow on these, I am gonna paint that in. I'll put one there. I don't know, the shadow comes down here a little bit. A rock. That's kind of on the back side of that rock. Maybe it gets a whole lot darker in here. On the back side of this one. That whole thing. Right next to that, I don't know, we're just winging it because, you know, my theory's always been, what's wet? I just touched something wet. That if it's not part of the subject, you're not worried about people seeing it, don't spend a whole lot of time on it. So for me, maybe this is enough rock right there. We don't have to do too much else, and it does look like there's some structure out there, right? Well, I think if I could have done something different, probably the best thing I could have done would have been maybe to vary the colors of these a little bit more. The distant ones, touch and smear technique. The touch and smear technique I would have done, but I think I'm okay with it. I think I'm going to leave that the way it is. Oh, what I am going to do is I'm going to come back here, and I'm looking at my reference photo, and I'm going to drop in a couple of windows here. Let's see, there's a window here and here, here. Just kind of the way these are. Hopefully that's not too dark. Hopefully that's not too dark. And as I'm looking at this, one other thing I want to do, I should have done this before, is I've got some of these. I've got a couple big tunnel areas back here too. But we can just drop those on. And before we go too far, we can almost finish this all up if we get a couple of lines on here. All right, let me get my line here. I got one here that I know of. Is this dry yet? This is dry. A line and a line. Right, I'll give a couple of lines out here. A vertical, I'm going to turn it again so I can get a vertical here. And there. I'm sorry, that really was a quick turn. I hope nobody has vertigo. That would have just killed it. And maybe I'll darken these up just a little bit, round those up just ever so slightly. And we're about done. We're about done with that back there. These didn't quite get even, but it's too late to worry about that at the moment. Let's see. we've got some people here to do something with, and we've got this big turquoise fence. So let's handle this fence. I've been wanting to do this. Mostly what I want to do is clean my palette here a little bit. That's watercolor, the color of our water. We don't need that anymore. We've got quite a dirty brush here, it looks like. Get that in a little bit of clean. Clean our palette off. Fantastic. I'm trying not to worry so much about when I put the windows on and they don't turn out like I want. I want them to be perfect, straight, and everything. But the more I do it, the more I'm like, well, you know what? Sometimes that not perfect stuff really kind of adds to it. We don't have a really tight painting here anyways, right? We kind of have a loose painting, so maybe that little loose windowness up there is going to really help us out. We'll find out. Okay, so from this guy's arm forward, I'm just going to go ahead and paint. Well, let's see. I'll start it from back here. I'm going to go ahead and paint this railing on. And just like everything else, this is a first coat. I'm not worried too much about if it's perfect, if it's not perfect. The only thing I'm trying to do at this point, and you don't have to do it, it's a style thing, is I'm just trying to touch that water because I don't want to see a white highlight on the top of this. Now, I've painted a lot, and I've left a lot of those call them highlights, call them mispaintings, call them whatever you want to call them, on plenty of paintings. And I've had people say to me that it looks good, that they like that there's a highlight there, that you can see the definition between items on your painting. And I've had some people go, how come you didn't do it right? Right? How come you painted it and you left all that other, those other marks there? So, I don't know if you're painting, it's totally up to you. If you leave one or two, so be it. It happens. If you don't like them, take a little extra time and get all the way to the edge. Make yourself happy with it. Sometimes I don't worry too much about it. Sometimes I look at my paintings and I go, why didn't I just take the extra minute to get that on there? Why did I do that? And the answer is it doesn't really matter. It's all up to you how you want to do it. Screw them. Sometimes that's how I feel about it. That really is I hate to say it, but that really is a good sentiment, right? You've just spent hours of your life sometimes painting something because you want people to like it. You think it's good enough that you would like other people to view it. And the first thing somebody can think to say is, how come you did it that way? That wasn't the right way to do it. And you just want to say, screw that. All right, I know that's not always the nicest thing to say. But sometimes it's the most worthwhile thing for your own mental ability or your mental state to say. You just spent so much time. You put so much effort into it. And of course, we all want people to like our stuff. We do. That's why, it's part of why we do it. That's part of why we do it. I think a vast majority of why we do it should be for ourselves, because we're all going to be our worst critic. And we're all going to... Oh, man. Well, remember I was saying something about these windows? Well, now they're really screwed up. Oh. I just put my fingers right in them. Oh, well, that's got to go on top of that. What are you going to do? Okay, so I'm going to leave this brush here because we're going to come back and do a little bit of extra with that. Oh, Jackie, Fun Stuff is here. Welcome. Been a long time. Thank you for making it. Hope you're doing good. Hanging in there. You could paint this with a rigger if you wanted to. You paint this with a lot of different kinds of brushes. I don't know exactly why I just pulled this one out, but it's going to be fine. Just go delicately and hope to get where we want to go with this one. Sometimes I don't always have the most delicate touch. Doing all right, thanks. How's my week going? My week is okay. My week is, there's nothing. Unfortunately, my weeks have turned into just a blah kind of a thing. I'm still going. I know that some people are back to work, some people are not back to work. I've never stopped going to work. The university I've go to, no, not the university. I don't want to blame it on the university. The department that I work for in the university that I work for has deemed that I and my coworker are essential, and so we've never stopped going to work. We've been going the entire time, and it's weird with nobody else there. Days kind of run into other days, and it's a bit odd. Was this the one I just had? Yes, this is the one I just had. Sometimes it gets a bit odd. Let's see. How am I going to do this? I want to be able to see that there's a demarcation here. Maybe that one's not going to work, but right, that there's a connector here. And so I'm going to attempt to paint around that board and then feather this color out as much as I can, just so we get that little connector there, and that's it. Kind of worked. I don't know that it's going to work on any of them further back, but it kind of worked. And then I know that the reference photo, the top bar, you can't really see it. I'm going to paint it as a flat top bar kind of a thing here. And I'm just going to put some color underneath it here and here. And I'm not going to worry too much about trying to make this exactly right. Again, the first time you look at it, you're going to see that there's this little shadow underneath here that makes it look slightly different, and you're not going to see anything else. You seemed a bit, let's see, I seemed a bit stressed last week. I did, I know, I was. Or maybe before losing track of time. Let's see. I have art school classmate who I showed some of my old drawings to, and he said she made me want to, pardon my French, but the jackhammer. Oh, that's not. And she told you that's not how you draw it. See, that's. Come on, people, really. I think everyone is. I keep getting my mornings and evenings mixed up. Yeah. I don't know, this is getting to everybody. It certainly is kind of getting to everybody. Okay. So I've got my railing on here. I need to get in to do my people here. So let's just jump into those. I'm going to paint, let's see, this person. It's got a red top on. And again, I'm going to kind of do this in that stylized way so that I'm not painting every little bit of everything, right? That's hard to do. It's hard to paint, especially on this scale. Everything in perfect proportion, get everything just right. It's not going to work. So we've got to make some sacrifices somewhere. These cutesy kind of stylized people here, I'm willing to do. Let's see, she's standing like that, and then I can give them all black pants if I want. That's easy. Right, I don't know, black pants there. That person's got black pants. Let's give this person in the middle here blue pants, I guess. I don't know, just to be different. Still got a little bit of dark on my brush here, so he's going to be kind of dark. And then I'm going to put a shadow on. And this is not my way. I got this, I'll be honest, from Tim Wilmot. Right? He always puts shadows on when his people are wet. That way he doesn't have to paint feet. You never see him paint feet. I think that's the funniest thing in the world. You never see him paint any feet. I don't know how he gets away with it, but he does. He never paints feet. And probably person should have a head. I don't know, I'm just guessing. They might want one. There we go. Now they all have heads and they're all walking down the way. Oh, I'm actually liking it. But I'm fearing now. I put shadows on them. I gotta bring in some shadows from these trees here. And how are we gonna do that? This would look wonderful framed. Like if I wanted a photo, I'd just put a photo frame. It would look good framed. Hey, look, I've got a frame. I was gonna bring that out at the end. Fun stuff. You beat me to it. All right, let's see if we can't get some shadow color on here. This is gonna frighten me to death to do this. See, we're like 99% done. And then to me, this shadow is going to be the most frightening part of the whole thing. I want to bring in a couple of shadows from here and put them just straight over. And how do I do it? Let's just see what we can do here. Let's mix a gray of our own. And be brave. I've mixed our shadows up. The shadows were supposed to be coming this way, and I put them going that way. And so now I've got to rectify the situation. fine. Let's do it. That's going to be way too dark. Some extra water on there. Right, we'll make this bend a little bit, something like, I don't know how this goes, and then straight across the street here. Is that somehow, a shadow would go like that somehow? I don't know. This one too, go straight across. Let's put one down here. Let's put one up there, up there. I don't know, do you have to put shadows on the rocks as it goes across? I don't even know. I don't have any idea. I don't know, I'm going to put another shadow here. Way down here. This, I don't even think you'll see this one. That's probably going to be out of the frame. Something like that. You know what? I've got these little pedestals here that I just want to give a little bit of color to, and we're almost done. I promise you we're almost done. Not much left on this one. Got these little things here that have just a bit of color on them. There are two of them. There are these little mounds, and there's actually little benches by them. But let's just drop those on kind of like that. Let's see. Oh, Alan is here. Alan, you came late too. I hope you like this. Well, I hope everybody likes it, if I'm being honest with you. I want everybody to like it. Let's see. What else to do? What else to do? Right, this person has got a little bit of shadow. I don't know if we can get any bit of a darker area on these person. That's kind of in shadow on that person. It's a little small to be doing this, which is maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should tell myself that I shouldn't be doing it, but there, that person's in shadow. It helps. I think it does. It's going to help with the shadow on the person. Right? If we get a little shadow on there, might help it look. I'm certainly not going to say a little more real because it's not a real painting. I mean, it's a real painting, but oh, you know what I mean. And I think what I need is just a bit more of a shadow underneath some of this to make this top pop off a little bit more. Make the top pop. Where's a towel? Give me a towel. And I probably don't need too much of it to make it look like we want. Like I said, this one here will probably be off the page also. I'm not going to worry about that one too much. This one, maybe a little bit there. And then we'll set and we'll assess it and see how it looks. With any luck, it's gonna look good. Okay. Oh, okay. The only thing I wish I had done. And I don't want to do it now. I should have done it before. Is maybe darken up the road here a little bit. Make that walkway a little bit darker. I'm really too late. I can't do that now. But the rest of it, I'm actually pretty happy with. I like it. It looks like some idyllic little island painting. I'm totally tickled. I think it looks great. And so that's what I've got for you guys this evening. Where am I at? 9:21, hour and 20 minutes going here. And this is my version of the casino on Catalina Island. I think it looks great. Oh yeah, let's do this. Let's just see. Let me raise this up just a little bit. And it's a white frame. It's a white border, but let's see. We could give our trees a little bit more room if we wanted to. We could give the casino a little bit more if we wanted to. Or we could make it go. Oh, wait, my tape came off. We could make it go out towards. That's about as far as we can make it go out. But that's basically what it's going to look like framed. We did a little bit here that we didn't need to do. And that's okay. But I'm kind of tickled with the way it turned out. I think it looks great. So that's what I've got for you guys. Thank you for joining me, everybody who was able to make it this evening. Thanks for making my evening enjoyable. And, whoops, let me put this back on there. That's what I've got. Do you frame and hang a lot in your home? Do I? I don't. This is how I hang it in my home. So every painting that I've... Oh, I didn't sign it. You're right. Every painting that I have done since we went into self-isolation, or whatever we're calling it. There you go. I've just signed it there. Now we're done. I have hung on my wall, and I don't know how many paintings it is. 50 paintings or so. It's quite a lot of them. It takes up one entire wall in my house, and they're all hung up like this because there's no way I could get them all framed like that. But some of them are better than others, and some will end up for sale on Etsy, and yours are all on the fridge like a child's. Hey, there's nothing wrong with the fridge. The fridge is a great place. Everybody gets to see it at the fridge. So that's all I've got for you guys tonight. Thank you so much. Down below, links to Instagram, Twitter, my webpage, which I'm always saying needs to be updated. It does need to be updated. I think I did it a couple weeks ago. I'm going to do it again. Links should be linked down below to my Discord channel if you want to get on that. And if you would like to help support the studio here, all of the money that I get goes right back into buying things for the studio. I actually bought a paintbrush. I'm going to be doing a review of the paintbrush that I got next week. And Lisa R. Discord isn't. I will get it there, Lisa. I promise you I'll get the link and put it there. It'll be there by tomorrow morning. And that's all I've got for you guys this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you back here next week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.